All right, 7th graders, this is to help you with question 7 on CR7. It says, I had $288, but I spent 1/4 of it on dinner. I spent 1/3 of the rest on a Broadway show, and 1/8 of what was left on a gift. I spent 1/6 of what remained on a taxi home. How much money was left? Okay, so you start with $288, and first you have to spend 1/4 of that. So if you have $288 and we have to spend 1/4 of that, you know your total is $288, and you're going to spend 1/4 of that. So you're going to spend 1/4 of that. You can either look at that as 288 times 1/4, or that's the same as 288 divided into 4 parts, and that gets you 1/4 there. I just drew a tape diagram as a visual. So if you choose to take 288 times 1/4, that's the same as taking 288 and dividing by 4. So that's what I'm going to do. 4 goes into 288. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. 0, remainder, bring down the 8. 4 goes into 8 twice. So it looks like $72. Okay, so you spent 1/4 on dinner. So you started with 288 and you spent $72 on dinner. All right, so let's see what we have left after dinner. 8 minus 2 is 6. 8 minus 7 is 1. So you still have $216 left after dinner. I spent 1/3 of the rest, 1/3 of what was left on a Broadway show. So now our new total is $216, and you're going to spend 1/3 of that on a Broadway show. So if you want to spend 1/3 of that on a Broadway show, you could either take 216 times 1/3, or that's the same as 216 divided by 3. That would be spending 1/3 of what remained. So I'm going to do that. 3 goes into 216. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract off. It's a 0, bring down the 6, 3 goes into 6 twice. Oh gosh, it's $72 again. So that means from the 216, we're going to spend $72 on a Broadway show. So now I spend $72 on the show. Let's see how much money I have left. 6 minus 2 is 4. That becomes a 1. There's an 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. So it looks like you have $144 left. Oops. Left after dinner and a show. All right. And 1/8 of what was left you're going to spend on a gift. Okay, so now we're down to $144, and you're going to spend 1/8 of that on a gift. Again, I can make a tape diagram, or at this point, hopefully you see. You can either multiply that by 1/8. Multiplying by 1/8 is the same as just dividing by 8. So that's what I'm going to do. 8 goes into 144. 8 goes into 14 once. Subtract off, that's a 6. Drag down that 4. 8 goes into 64 8 times. All right, so it means you spent $18 on a gift. That's the money you spent on a gift. So we're going to subtract off $18 for the gift. Let's borrow, make that a 3. 14 minus 8 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. So it looks like you have $126 left after. So that's the amount of money you now have left after dinner. Dinner, the show, the gift. All right, you got to get home now, right? I spent 1/6 of what remained on a taxi home. Whew, okay. So you have 126 times 1/6, or that's the same as 126 divided by 6. So that's what I'm going to do. 6 goes into 126. Let's see how much you spent on the taxi home. 6 goes into 12 twice. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract off. Bring down that 6. 6 goes into 6 once. You spent $21 on a taxi. That was your taxi ride. So at the end of the night, how much money did you walk home with? Let's see. How much money was left after you got home? 6 minus 1 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. So you still had $105 at the end of the night. So that's what you do. You just figure out 1/4 of the original, subtract that off, then figure out, I don't think yours says 1/3. I think yours is like 1/9. But you just keep chipping away at it, see what you're left with at the end of the night. I hope that helps.